Have you ever heard a statement that was going around a few months ago or a few weeks ago, which was saying, it's giving Zimbabwe. It's giving Zimbabwe. And all of that. So this is what is currently happening. It's giving some ZANU-PF vibes. It's giving some Kautengesi vibes. You know what I'm talking about? So this is what we're going to be looking at. I'm going to be looking at a number of videos and analyze them and try to pin together this story. Some might say it's hallucination, but I think there is something to this story. But anyway, welcome to this broadcast, and if you're new, kindly subscribe, hit the bell notification so that you won't miss out on all of our videos that we post here. Follow us on Twitter, JCTV Africa, and also follow us on Facebook. It's Kenan Rusike. All these platforms, you can interact with me. But let us look at first, we want to listen to the prophecy that was given 10 February 2023. And on that prophecy, Apostle Chiwenga mentioned that someone was bought. And some people said, Apostle Chiwenga. But let's listen to this part of the prophecy where he said, our struggle was sold for a price. Let's watch.
So history is repeating itself. Manipulation, selling out, receiving money behind closed doors, and becoming a sham opposition, one who goes on the front and says, we don't want this. And at night he sneaks through the door, he goes to the very opponent of his and says, don't worry, you will not lose any election. I'm just there to show them a picture that you have got some contenders, but I have no interest of taking over. What do you give me for giving you no competition? So he goes back home with an envelope of money. So whenever things that are important are happening, you don't see him. He always comes to the people conveniently when people are looking for someone who is serious. My advice to those who want to listen, I know not everyone will listen. Others will come back to this prophecy when they are disappointed, because they will be disappointed. And this time their disappointment is self-made. My advice to those who listen to me is that we have a terrible situation in which people's hopes have been sold for a price. You hear what I'm saying, Pastor? Yes. People's hopes have been sold for a price. Someone received money and he disregarded what could change people's lives. But there is an Ahithophel behind this transaction. Like we said, Ahithophel is not a small person. Ahithophel is not a dandiite. Ahithophel is an intellectual. Ahithophel is respected for his wisdom. But there's only one thing that Ahithophel does not have. Ahithophel does not have a soul.
Then, the second thing that also happened is there is a video of Godfrey Tsenengam. He was in conversation with Trevor. And this is what he also said.
And I don't think that the leadership of the main opposition is really serious with wanting to get rid of the regime in Harare.
Really?
That I can say.
Why do you say
that? Why I would say that is we have 3 or 4 months before we go to an election. There is nothing to show that we are really going to an election. There have been these stories making rounds that there have been some pacts of some sort on tribal
the
grounds.
Karanga pact between Mnangagwa and Nelson Chamisa?
That's what people say. Including those who are within the main opposition, but to say this is what is happening. that they have to allow E.D to get his 2 terms. This whole drama that is happening is meant to make sure that Mnangagwa gets a second term, because there was an arrangement that was done which involved Charumbira, one Utaunashe, and who is this one? This other, and Mtendi. They went to convince the leadership of the main opposition to say, we have been under the Zulu dominance for 37 years. Why would you want to get one of your own out of the office after they've just been there for 5 years? Why can't you allow him 10 years? Then you have your time, you come in, we all support you, and you do all this thing. So at first I was doubtful about it, until Charumbira came out and said, we had the Zulus for 37 years, blah, 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 your brothers, things like that, and everything. Oh, okay. So those guys from this side who were saying this is what is happening were really saying the truth. So the people are really, you see, they can't wait to have change, the general people. And they are so hopeful that their leadership is also with them. They believe that the leadership is sincere. And like as I'm saying,
they're being fooled like you and I.
Yeah, like as I'm saying it now.
Now, coming to that, we realize that there has been that Karanga Deal, the Karanga Deal, which was, secretly, inadvertently, Charumbira secretly revealed some of the things. That being said, there is a tweet by Comrade Neva Masurase, and this is what it says. You accept being bribed with a few millions to keep quiet and doing nothing when you won fair and square. Tinozviziva zvakaitika zvese hatatidi kutaura. Betraying the innocent masses, taking advantage of their gross lack of information. Muchanotongwa zvenyu, muchanotongwa kudenga vazhinji venyu. And it goes on to say, munoswera muchibata vanhu kumeso panapa, muchiziva kuti makatambira mazimari. Isu tinotukwa nevanhu vari murimo. Right? Then he goes on to say, magonyeti enyu anoswera achinwa dhiziri remahara kunatwana tagurei uko. Macontract ekutakura chrome nelithium muchipiwa tichiona zvedu. Tinyerere moda kuuya pano mukabata muchinjiko kunyepera vana veZimbabwe vari kutambura nenhamo. Sei muri vana vadiabolos vakadai. This is what he says. That you pretend, and the person who pretends to be a saint, it's Nelson Chamisa. And the person who was named in the Karanga Deal is Nelson Chamisa. So it's giving that vibe of Karanga Deal. But not only that, he also then went on to say today, because I'm reading the yesterday tweet, which is about 20 hours ago. He goes on to say, and there's a picture here of Kudata Gwirei. You were told help is on the way. Today I'm declaring kuti makanyepero because there is no help coming from anywhere. These are statements for managing your expectations while they enjoy cash from the regime. They cannot call for demos because their paymasters will expose them. I don't hate anyone at all, but kungogara ndakuratidzai chokwadi kuti mugare maziva. As the masses, you are on your own while they are together with those who are striving to rid themselves of. Hongu zvinorwadza kunzwa, asi ichochi ndo chokwadi chamuchazoona mega. Right? And then he also goes on to say, to you it's about the plight of as citizens. To them, to you it's about your plight as citizens, but to them it's all about capitalizing and making money. Political transactions took place, and that buried all hope for any possible mass resistance led them. Respectable millions were offered and they latched onto it. Whether this is referring to a group of people, I don't know. But this is what Comrade Neva Maserase is saying. So then it also, let's hear what Ibo Mandasa said about the lack of action on Nelson Chamisa's part. Why did he refuse these three options?
I think looking back a few months ago, and I got this from very reliable quarters, Emerson didn't want elections. If also because he knew to be messy. And I think also knew that he's unelectable. Absolutely. And he sent out emissaries to Chamisa in March on there. So let's postpone the elections for 2 years. Let's have a government of national unity. And in 2 years, I hand over. I'm going. I asked my informant who were the emissaries, and they named them. People in Emerson's cabinet, the inner core. I went further, I wanted to know what was the rationale behind the argument for this postponement, GNU. And the response was that the military were too involved. I have evidence that on the day of the poll, when it was discovered that this was a deliberate ploy to withhold the ballot papers, Chamisa was confronted by his colleagues and said, look, let's pull out of the election now. It's no use. And he refused. I've also been told that some of the leaders said, look, let's go on the streets. And he refused. So, if you're a leader, you're scared to die, then there's something wrong with you. To put it very humbly. Yeah, you must be paid. If others were killed on the 1st of August, 2018. And when one of our discussions we had on the elections, the question was raised by someone that why is the CCC going on to the elections when they know that the conditions for free fair are not there? And someone stood up and said, you know what? We must make a resolution here in this meeting that if, as is predictable, the elections will not be free, fair, and credible. If Chamisa, after insisting on going for elections, insists on people going on the street, he should go on the street on his own.
All right. In my final conclusion, I'll say, my question to you as a thinker or as an individual, now that the SADC report is out, and I told you that the person who's going to chair that meeting or the minutes that were sent to the president is the president himself of Zimbabwe. And according to Herald, they say that they are going to look at the recommendations of SADC and consider some of them and reject some of them. So they might look at the things and start to change them now and say, we have done this. Probably they might change the chairperson of ZEC, or they might say, okay, if you say the patriotic bill impedes on democracy, we might repeal it, and then we are going to change some electoral forms, maybe the delimitation report, and what, a lot of things. Or these coming by-elections, they are going to be so free and fair that even probably CCC might end up winning all of them. And they say, look, we had free and fair elections, by-elections. What are you talking about? You see, so we have done these electoral reforms. My question to you is, do you think that Nelson Chamisa does not know how SADC works? Are you telling me that he doesn't know that SADC does not react based on his past history with other issues, whether be the issue of Morgan Tsvangirai being beaten, whether the issue of the runoff of 2008, whether be the issue of 2013 rigging of elections that happened, where we saw Tendai BT and there were it was on international media where buses were being ferried, people were moving from one place to the other, and the brazen killing of citizens that happened on August 1st, 2018, and there was no movement from SADC. Why would they move now? Are you telling me that Nelson Chamisa does not know that these clubs of SADC, they are like this? Why did he stop his friends from protesting on the day of elections when the ballot papers were not available in Harare, where he knew that way his strongholds? Why did he not, when there was an opportunity for them to go to court, right? He knows that SADC was going to make recommendations on the remedies that were there. Why didn't he not go to court? If they said we won fair and square, why didn't he go to court? Let's not talk about being obvious, because if we say now that they are being, we knew what was going to be the obvious case, why is it that now Triple C is probing to go to court when it has condemned the same court for not being fair and for not for saying that we know what is going to happen? Why didn't they go to court and say we have explored, and go to SADC and said we have explored all the domestic remedies and none of them have worked? We won fair and square. These are the results, and the results of ZEC are different. If they had all the results that they won. So to me, we must be able to separate being sold a dummy and being promised hope that is to come. To those that are saying something is going to happen, where is it coming from? SADC they've done their part. Where is other help going to come from? I know people are going to insult me, but my question is, where do you think the help is going to come from? From UN, that is failing to solve an issue that is happening in Israel and in Palestine. How many coups have happened in West Africa? The AU, they are expecting AU to act, and AU has not done anything. How many people are dying, are being slave traded in Libya, and AU has not done anything? You seriously believe that Nelson Chamisa has somehow, some help that is going to get to make sure that this election is overturned? I think this naivety is seriously alarming to even among the people that we call intellectuals, to actually clutch onto that hope and say Nelson Chamisa knows something's happening. Anyway, what do you make of these allegations? Do you think that they hold any water? But to me, I really feel that there is something that is going on behind the scenes that we don't know. Whether there was a deal or there is a deal, I don't know. But anyway, I would love to hear your thoughts, and please humor me with your comments. I would love to hear them.